Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Sekiro Shadows Die Twice complete walkthrough, and this is episode 9, which I have named Two Serpent Visceras. And in the last episode we got through the Sunken Valley and we are now heading into the Ashina Depths. Because back in episode 7 we did part 1 of the Rice Quest, which I've called it, for the Dragon's Homecoming ending. And the last thing the Divine Child asked of us after all the consuming of rice and fast traveling back and forth, she wanted us to pick up and give her 2 Serpent Visceras, which is the dried and the fresh Serpent Viscera, which we are gonna do in this episode. And we are also gonna take down Snake Eyes Shirahagi. In the last episode we took down Shirafuji, and Shirahagi is the second leader of the female warrior clan that resides in the Sunken Valley. And I think this is actually part of that place, but we are a bit further in. Down here to my left you will see a big flock, herd of monkeys, or whatever you want to call it. You do not want to get into the middle of that. Just run past it. That is the easiest way. And down there in that big pool of water you may see a big grey monkey. That is the guardian ape, and he is one of 2 bosses you need to kill to progress the story. But we are not gonna take him on right now. Instead, we're gonna head towards the other boss. You see him there? Big bastard. But out of the 2 enemies we need to take down to progress the story, or the 2 bosses, more correctly, he is the harder one, I would say. And if you choose to take him on first, he will also make the path to the second one, or to the other boss, harder, because if we take him down first, you're gonna have to face off against him again before we can get to the other boss. So I chose to ignore him for now, and I suggest you do the same. And down here in the Ashina Depths there are poisonous swamps, much like Blight Town in Dark Souls 1. With the slight difference that Sekiro is a lot faster than any Dark Souls character. So you will basically never run the risk of getting poisoned, and we are also gonna use that to our advantage against Shirahagi. And here is a white monkey with 2 swords. Try to stealth kill him. There is also another one if you start, or if you progress there to my left, instead of heading in here, but that is a dead end. There is some loot to pick up there. I can't remember what it is, but I don't think it's worth it, because those white monkeys are really dangerous. And from this vendor you can buy the green mossy gourd. That is used as the red mottle gourd. That is, or the red one is used to take away burn damage. The green one is used to take away poison damage. So if you want to pick that up, feel free to do so. There is not many other things we will be spending money on in this walkthrough, so feel free to pick that up if you want to. And down in this cave you can see this place is really dark, and it is jam-packed with those poison lizards. But there is also another enemy in here. There are what I call the shadow soldiers. So stay away from the walls in this place. And if you're close to a wall, always move. Never stand still, because they will reach out of the wall and they have spears and they will try to stab you. They are not super fast, but they can catch you by surprise. You see? Just like there. I got a bit lucky. They didn't hit me. And I can't remember if I've ever been hit by them, because they aren't super fast, and as long as you keep on the move they will not be able to clock you. But since it is a perilous attack, if it makes contact it will most likely hurt. And when you get over here, make sure to head to the left, because there are two great serpents in this game. A lot of people have theorized about the fact that it might be one male and one female, but we don't want to engage this one. Instead, we head over to this monkey and make sure to use the puppeteer ninjutsu on him, because he will jump up on the cliff to the left and he will draw the attention of the great serpent. And you can tell that this is another serpent because it still has its left eye. You know, in what was it, episode 2 or 3, we took out the eye of one of the serpents. And that serpent, we are gonna end him in this episode actually. But here we have the dried serpent viscera, which is the first of the 2 key items we need for the second part of the rice quest. So we can say that we are halfway done with part 2. There are, what is it, 3 parts to that quest, I think. But either way, also make sure to pick up that divine confetti, because that will come in handy later on in the game. And in here, or this is the Ashin Adepts. This is called the Poison Pool, I think. This is where we will find Snake Eyes Shirahagi. And much like Shirafuji, she fights with her rifle. She can use it to swing at you, she can use it to shoot at you, and when she does, it hurts a lot. But we did cheese down Shirafuji, and we are gonna do the same thing to Shirahagi, even though we're gonna cheese her even more. But before we move on, make sure to pop a Gachin sugar so the enemies in here will not see us coming. Because what we want to do is we are gonna bait Shirahagi into this poison pool. Because these enemies are in no way immune to the poison of this swamp. So take out these 2 enemies first. That will make the run back a little bit easier. You can ignore them if you're quick. But now, just sneak around here. And here we have Shirahagi. So make sure to crouch, sneak up behind her, and do a death blow. You can, if you're feeling ballsy, do 1 mortal draw on her, which will lower her health a little bit. But then we start baiting her. We want her to follow us all the way back. Make sure you don't run too far ahead, so she doesn't lose track of you. And make sure her rifle doesn't hit you, because that hits... when that hits, it hits hard. You see? She took off half my health bar. Half! In 1 shot! And I think it might be that she clocked me in the head. I don't know if the head has like its own hitbox, which will make you take more damage. But either way, when you get over here, you want her to walk into the swamp and make sure you're at full health. Then just sit here, activate the umbrella, and we are gonna wait. As you can see, I have sped this up quite a bit, because the enemies are not immune to the poison effects of the swamp, and neither is Shirahagi. So we are just gonna wait here and let the poison work its magic on her. It will not kill her, but it will take her down until her health bar is basically drained. And what I would recommend you do, you will not see me do it in this video, but make sure to equip your shurikens before you go down to take her out. Because if you get really unlucky, you may end up... I have actually died going down to kill her. Because as you could see, her rifle took off half my health, 1 shot. And she hits really hard. And getting close to her and firing off a shuriken will make her stagger or go into the animation where you can do the death blow just before you get up to her, so all you need to do is finish her off when that happens. But now she is really close to death. I'm just waiting for her to get poisoned one last time, so I'm really sure I will take her out, because do not underestimate her. But that's it. So we go down, I get shot again, and you saw right there, now the shot only took off like a quarter of my health. So it might be that it did extra damage since it clocked me in the head. But either way, one of the most dangerous mini-bosses taken out by her own accord. And if you're not immune to poison, why would you choose to live in a poisonous swamp? That is beyond me. But luckily for us, she decided to do so, which made this a whole lot easier than it would otherwise be. And now we're just gonna run around here and pick up some of the loot that is still around. There is an enemy up to my right, up on a platform, but just ignore him. The only thing up there is another sculptor's idol and a dead end, basically. And before you move on, head up here and we're gonna go into... No, the other way, Wolfman. In this passage, you can go up to the left and we're gonna pick up another prayer bead. And here you just wall jump. And the prayer bead is up on the head of this statue. So we pick that up. And if you decided to go for the guardian ape first, some people choose to do so. I do not. But if you chose to go for him first, in this big room, this is where you will face off against him the second time. And that fight can be really tricky if you haven't followed the path I am choosing right now, because we will take out the guardian ape. We will also take him out in the second encounter, but first we're gonna go this path and take out the corrupted monk. And now we are getting into, I think this is called the hidden forest. And before we traverse this place any further, we're gonna fast travel out of here and we're gonna go to Senpu Temple, the very first sculptor's idol in Mount Congo, because we are gonna pick up the fresh Serpent Viscera. And this, I talked about the fact that I tried to do things in the wrong order. This is actually the place I went first. Because I tried to go here before I went into the Sunken Valley. Don't know why I did it, because you see right now I'm equipping the puppeteer ninjutsu. Because we need to puppeteer this guy, because he will send up a kite for us so we can pass over this canyon. There's also some loot over there to the left, so make sure to pick that up. I missed it. But during my practice run for this game, I did extensive notes on this game. I had like 3.5 or maybe 4 pages of notes in which order I was supposed to do things. But when I got this far into the recording, for some reason I suffered a brain fart and tried to go about things the wrong way. God knows why. But either way, we know how this part works. We go in, we stealth kill this guy. Make sure to pop a gotchin sugar if you want to go for the big boy. I don't. I make the same mistake I did the very first time I passed through this place. And I take a swing for it. But that was on me. I deserved that one, because I did the very same fuck up twice. And when we get out here, go over to this little cliff and up on this giant tree. Because up here you see the kite. So now we just swing across the canyon. And we pick up some snap seeds. Because after the second encounter, the one we had with the Great Serpent in the last episode, where he tried to kill us down in the lake or the river or whatever, this is the place he retreats to. Because we are gonna find him curled up around a giant rock, and we need to kill him to get the fresh serpent viscera. So first we rest by this sculptor's idol, and it's time to take that oversized handbag and show him who's boss. And there we will find him right down here. There he is. So make sure to lock on, jump off, and kill him. He is not happy to see us. And you saw right there, you need to press R1 twice. And just split his skull in half. And that is the end of the Great Serpent. And we get the fresh serpent viscera. And make sure, when you're up on this little ledge, pick up all the loot which is up here. Because when you leave this little cliff, you will not be able to get back up here. There is that dragon's blood droplet, the Bundle Jizo statue, and also the Mibu balloon. And now that we have picked those up, we can head out of this place. And I almost feel a bit bad about that serpent, because he was probably there just moping because he didn't manage to kill us the last time. We escaped his clutches twice. But now we have at least put him out of his misery. So now we are back actually where this episode started. And we are gonna fast travel to the inner sanctum and give the two visceras to the divine child. So we talk to her, and we give her the persimmons of the serpent. And after you have given them to her, make sure to go out here and rest. And now you will see the doors are closed. And if you go over here and eavesdrop, don't drop your ears. You need them to hear. But you will see, or you will hear, that she is writhing in pain in there. She's getting ready to become the dragon's cradle or something like that. So that will lock her out from you until we have progressed in the story. And then we go to the sculptor and we talk to him while we're in the neighborhood, so to speak, and we fit our new prosthetic tool that we picked up quite a while back. Or actually it was in the last episode. But now I think we're gonna head back to the hidden forest. But first we're gonna go to Kuro's room. This is a secret path which is a shortcut in between Ashina Castle and the sculptor. And we're gonna talk to Emma to get some sake.
I'm glad you.
And of course, we did pick up a gourd seed in the Sunken Valley, so make sure to equip that into your gourd bottle. Was what I was gonna say. And now we can continue on our quest. Because we rest and we will travel back to the hidden forest in the Ashina depths. I think, at least. Yes. The hidden forest. And this place, in this area, there is a headless. He is down here in the middle, or over to the left side of the lowest part of this area. So make sure you don't fall down. And if you fall down, try to get out of there as fast as you can. He will not aggro until you're really close to him, but he can cause you a lot of pain, and thank you for that, Mr. Rooster. I hate these oversized chickens. They don't fight fair. That was actually not the headless. Because in this area you see there is a lot of mist, and there are these illusion enemies. And the mist and the illusion enemies are caused by a creature called the Mist Noble, who has set up shop in a little house further down on our path. And when you want to get into that house, you are supposed actually to, in the area we just left, to jump down on the trees and make a big circle around and go past another mini boss to get into him. But I'm gonna use a little trick that I actually saw in a speedrun to get into him quicker. So we jump up on this little patio over to this branch and jump again. So then you're standing on the branch, you can get into this house. And the Mist Noble is a dangerous mini boss. Check this out. Make sure to do a death blow. And then wait for it. Wait for it. Now that's an intense fight. He doesn't... I don't think he even hits back. I have never tried it. But as soon as you kill him, all the mist disappears, and you can see this place for how it really looks. You see this house is just a ruin, and all the illusion soldiers are now gone. So this place is now actually completely devoid of enemies. There is 1 or 2 roosters and a lot of loot. So make sure we're gonna run around this place and try to pick up as much loot as possible, because when you're in an area that is safe, which this place is now, make sure to pick up everything you can, because there might be some really useful stuff laying around. And now I was getting a bit anxious because, like, what? Is there an enemy still here? But that is just a rooster, so you can just ignore him for now. So I think here are some light coin purses, because this is a burial ground, I think. Or the soldiers here are soldiers that died in a fight or a battle in this area and were buried here or something like that. And the Mist Noble conjures them up to hide the way into a place called Mibu Village, which is the next stop on our journey. There we will find the corrupted monk and also another mini boss. But that is something we're gonna take on in the next episode, actually. But first we need to get to this, get through this area. And now I picked up all the loot I'm gonna pick up, so we're gonna backtrack a little bit and go the path you are supposed to go to get into that Mist Noble. So we just jump up on this giant tree trunk, and this is where it gets a bit tense, because the headless is down there to my right. So be very careful when you're jumping down on these trees. Now I am standing directly over him. I even turned the camera so you can get a glimpse of him. See him right down there? As long as you don't jump down there, you're completely safe. If you accidentally fall down, get out of there as fast as you can. He puts up an aura around him which slows you down, which will make you unable to run fast. But I find that the quickest way is to continuously jump to get out of there, and he will not follow you very far. And as soon as you get out of that aura, you can start running fast again and get the hell out of Dodge. But here we have this place's version of Juso the Drunkard that we fought in the Hirata estate. This guy is called Tokujiro the Glutton, and he has his little monkey friends. And the first thing you want to do is kill all these monkeys. I think he has 4 of them in total. Yes, he does. One of them was sitting up on this little cliff, and 3 of them were down there. Tokujiro cannot get up here, so make sure to kill all the monkeys. And then we're gonna head out of here so he loses track of us. So we're just gonna continue on the path. And this is the path you're supposed to take to get into the Mist Noble if you don't use that little speedrunner trick. So grapple over to this little tree, and as soon as his health bar disappears, it means that he has lost track of us and we can head back. And make sure that you equip the Mortal Draw combat art, because that will make this fight go really quick. If you want to make it even quicker, make sure to pop on Akko's sugar before you jump down here. And as always, we go for a death blow to soften him up. And now we're just gonna run around him and we're gonna bait his attacks and we're gonna punish everything with the Mortal Draw. Because this fat boy is not very fast. He does have a decent recovery time after his attacks, and that is your opportunity to go in and do the Mortal Draw. And I have said that the Mortal Draw, it does use up spirit emblems. If you are short on spirit emblems, you can still use the attack. It will have a slightly shorter reach and do a little less damage. But it's still, even when you're out of spirit emblems, it packs a wicked punch. And we are just grinding this guy's ass down. See? Easy. Never even touched me. But he can. If he hits you, he does hit hard. He is not to be underestimated. And feel free to run around him a little bit and learn his attacks before you go in to attack yourself. So you don't end up doing a mistake going in for what you think is a single swing and heading straight into maybe a follow-up swing, because you don't want to face tank one of those. But after you get past him, you see here over to my right is the house where the Mist Noble was. So you're supposed to run down on this branch and jump over to the roof that way. So if you don't manage to do the branch jumping thing I did, that is another path in there. And also, I talked about this part getting harder if you take on the ape first. If you have killed the ape when you get here, these trees and stuff will be filled with illusion enemies, nightjars and normal soldiers, and that will just make it harder to traverse down here into the Mibu village, which we will take on in the next episode. But as always, I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.